Boats, boats, boats. Everywhere you look these days, the pleasure boating mania has taken over. Youngsters, housewives, and office workers have become weekend sailors and skippers. The boating craze has reached boom proportions. 20 million landlubbers have taken to the water in search of adventure and relaxation. Salty language pervades the atmosphere as kitchens become galleys, and upstairs is now known as topside. And Junior goes for this boating bit in a big way. Those outboard motors have converted the small fry into barnacle busters whose constant quest is for speed and more speed. No fooling about this race. The competition is keen. All this youthful enthusiasm is distracting, to say the least. Hey, Junior, no shortcuts. Lady, I know it's wash day, but you'd better not... I tried to tell you. When it comes to thrills, this is strictly for grown-up kids. These hardy boatmen are meeting Mother Nature's challenge with kayaks, dories, and rubber rafts. To keep afloat here, you need courage and skill. Only the best can meet the test. Among the best are the racing aces of the lakes. This is the famous Gold Cup race, and these are the boats of the professional speed kings. Eight contestants zipping over the glittering water, throwing white rooster tails of spray as they go. Exhilaration of stinging spray and screaming engines is in their blood. Men of purpose, bent on breaking the present record of 173 miles per hour. And when the grueling competition ends, victory is sweet. Speaking of speed, this is the fastest boat afloat, the jet-powered Bluebird. Here is the unchallenged champion of them all. Piloted by Don Campbell, whose famous father pioneered the world's fastest boats, the Bluebird flashes across Lake Mead at super speeds. With the blast of her jet engines echoing like thunder, the Bluebird lifts out of the water to skim the surface on specially designed runners. At 225 miles per hour, Don Campbell holds the world record for speed on the water. Elsewhere on the boating scene, the fabulous sport of sailing is a special tonic for tattered nerves. Sundays lure additional thousands into the boating clan every year. To these souls who live in a world of Dacron sails and spray-filled cockpits, the sound of a marine engine is a breach of the peace. From dinghy mites to clipper skippers, they're a boating breed apart. Their greatest joy in life is pitting boat against boat as these daring skippers compete for honors in the club regattas. To every sailing enthusiast, the biggest event is the historic international competition for the America's Cup. Off Newport, Rhode Island, the 1958 race finds Britain's entry, the Scepter, challenging the U.S.'s Columbia for the most coveted trophy in yachting. Since 1851, when the Cup was first placed in competition, the Yankee skippers have won this event. Now history repeats itself as the American 12-meter sloop slides over the finish line to victory. Columbia's proud crew successfully defends this fabulous cup. Going back into the colorful history of this racing series, Sir Thomas Lipton, the Tea King, was the most famous of all the British who tried to win the America's Cup. He spent $15 million of his own money building 5 magnificent racing yachts which he named Shamrock. However, Sir Thomas failed in his efforts to capture the cup, and each of his beautiful sloops went down to defeat before the sailing skill of the daring American skippers. Then, in 1934, came Sopwith and his Endeavours. In the first race, Endeavour took the first 2 heats from the American Rainbow, but lost the next 3, failing to win the cup for Britain. But Sopwith was determined to be the first Britisher to win the coveted America's Cup. In 1937, he launched the Endeavour II at a cost of $5 million. Constructed of rare woods and designed with extreme care, the Endeavour II was a sailing man's dream come true. Here was a racing yacht which not only Sopwith, but all of Britain believed could win the cup. In trial runs, her performance was outstanding, and the crew was confident of victory. Meanwhile, across the sea in the United States, a syndicate of yachting devotees headed by Harold Vanderbilt had built another multi-million-dollar vessel, which they named the Ranger. In rigorous trial runs, the Ranger and her crew were tuned to perfection. Then came the race. On the windward leg of the important heat, the Ranger and the Endeavour were sailing side by side, close hauled into the light wind. This was a tough test of seamanship, as the 2 crews were forced to feel their way along in light airs hardly sufficient to push the slim hulls. Turning to make the downwind run, both vessels jockeyed for position and broke out their spectacular balloon spinnakers, the great bag-like sails which grab every whisper of wind. In the final leg of the race, the Ranger moved slowly but surely ahead to cross the finish line several boat lengths in front of the Endeavour. The British had lost again, but a salute to the gallant crew of the Endeavour and Mr. and Mrs. Sopwith, great sportsmen and seamen in the British tradition. From racing yachts to watercraft of every kind and size, the thrill of boating gives excitement and fun for the daring skippers.